Hi there, and welcome to the MyMemories Suite version 3 short and sweet video tutorial series. I'm Lisa J, and I help host the Facebook page and blog for MyMemories.com. I'm really excited to be here to share this new video tutorial series with you. We'll be showing off some of the features and functions that are available in the latest edition of MyMemories Suite digital scrapbooking software. Version 3 added some great functionality and versatility to an already feature-packed program. We're going to take a quick peek at one of those features in each of the upcoming videos. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet, but stay tuned to our blog, Facebook page, and YouTube channel for more video tutorials to come. Currently, you can find answers to most of your questions by visiting the Facebook page, blog, or website, and you can find all of those links at www.mymemories.com. But if you don't see what you need to know, just ask. There's almost always someone there to help. If you need to reach me directly, please don't hesitate to send me an email at lisaj@mymemories.com. Tonight we're going to talk about the grouping features in MyMemories version 3, and we're going to cover some of the things that have made the grouping feature so much more improved and some of the fun things that you can do with it. I'm going to start and go through the setup of the album pretty quickly because we cover that in great detail in one of the other videos, but I'll just take you through the couple of quick setup steps that I'm going to do to get this project ready. On the new album option screen, which is the screen that will come up when you first open your software, I'm going to just choose Design Your Own, and then I'm going to set up a square project just so we've got something kind of blank and easy to start with. I'm going to choose a square album, and I'm just going to choose a 12 by 12 size to keep everything standard. I'm going to go through a couple of things that I normally do with my project. I usually come over here to the Zoom tool down at the bottom corner, and I usually choose fit to screen, fit to window, so that I can see my entire page all at one time, and then I'm going to remove the page guides or the trim guides so they're not in the way. You can do that by hitting Control-R, or you can do that by visiting View and Guides and remove guides down at the bottom. But like I said, we cover all of those things in much more great detail in some of the other videos, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on those here. To start with, I'm just going to add some basic embellishments to the page. So I'm going to click Embellishments over here on the Control panel, but you could easily choose that option here or over here on the Resource Gallery as well. It's just completely your preference. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to add and work with one of the monogram elements so that you can see kind of how easy it is to work with some of the lettering that you need to when you're done with your project. I'm going to click on one of the kits that is included in the new kind of facelifted design club, and this is something you might want to check out because it's $5.99 a month, and you get 5 brand new kits that aren't available in the shop yet, and now they are being created by some of the top designers at mymemories.com, so you might want to check that out. There's a lot of new stuff coming in the design club, and you don't want to miss out. So I'm just going to click monograms. This is in the At the Circus kit, and like I said, that is included in the March edition of the design club. So I'm just going to spell out the word sisters. I'm going to go ahead and click on all the letters I need. Let's see, I need an I. And if you hold down the Control key or Command key on your keyboard, you should be able to click more than one letter at a time. So I'm going to add all of those in, and then I'm going to click Apply, which will add all of those to my page and kind of all stacked up, so it's pretty easy to move them around once I've got them on the page. I'm just going to move them so I can see each one and put them in order as I am going to need them. ERS, let's just move them around here, and I'm going to need to duplicate my S, so I'm going to click on just that element and copy and paste again, just so I have a couple of extra S's. And those are very easy to slide into place. Now you'll see that there's not really any rhyme or reason to how they're added to the page. I just sort of wanted to get them all on here. Now to select all of the items on the page, and I do a lot of my grouping on a blank page because it makes it easier to manipulate just what I want to move around and group, and then I can copy and paste the whole group to another page. So what you may want to do is, especially if you like to work with clusters or set up photo frames that have clusters around them, it's a good idea to maybe create an album that you keep just blank pages in, and then you work on these little mini projects on your blank pages, because then you can always, which we'll talk about in another album, but you can always use your insert menu to insert pages from other projects into a current project. So it's very easy to keep a couple of running albums open and accessible at the same time. But like I said, we'll talk about that in another video. So I'm going to want to select all of these items on the page, and there's a couple of different ways I can do that. I can click Arrange, and I can click Select All, or Control A, which is the keyboard shortcut for that. But one of the easiest ways I find to do it is to just click on a blank part of my page and just drag to encompass all of those items, which will automatically select everything that's within that drag area. Okay, now I'm going to come up to the Align Objects button, which is this little funky looking thing right here at the top of your menu, and I am going to align them by, you can choose either the top, the middle, or the bottom. In this instance, it's all going to give you the same look because they're exactly the same size embellishment. Some things will look better if you align them by the bottom or the top, depending on what you're working with. So now you can see they're all perfectly lined up. I'm going to come back up here to the Align Objects menu, and then I'm going to space these things evenly horizontally. So now you can see that they're all exactly spaced evenly. Now, some of those options are available by using the right-click menu on your if you're located here, you can also find those on the right-click menu, but I just use the little Align Objects menu here at the top. Okay, now to group those, right now we've used the alignment tools, which we'll talk about in more detail in another video, but we've used the alignment tools. But what I want to do is reselect them, and you could do this all at the same time. I just happened to click off them. I'm going to reselect them, and now I want to group them. So you can do that also in a couple of different ways. I can go back up to the Arrange menu and select Group, or even quicker, I can use the keyboard shortcut, Control or Command G, and now you can see that there's one solid line all the way around the entire group, and they will act and move as one embellishment now. So now when I click on them, I've selected the whole item, and I can move them all over the page doing whatever I'd like to them. What's nice is that I can still shadow them all at once. So if I click this, I can use the shadow properties box to manipulate the shadow any way I'd like, and then when I click OK, it will add that same shadow to every item in my group. As long as it's grouped, it will behave as one item. Even though you're adding shadows to each individual item, they're all covered because you've got them grouped. Now what's nice is that, especially with monograms, because sometimes it's hard to tell when you're adding just one at a time to the page how much it's going to take and how you're going to need to resize them to get them all to fit. What I like to do is add them all just at regular full size. Just add them the way you want, get them all spaced the way you want, get them all lined up the way you want, and then you can take the corner tools, just like you can with any other embellishment, and resize the whole group all at one time. And you can stretch them if you want to, you can enlarge them height-wise if you want to this way, but as long as you grab the corner, it will keep all your proportions in check. But remember, you can always stretch things out of proportion if that's what you want to do. Just like with any other single embellishment, because this really now is acting as one single embellishment, you can grab the corner. When you hover over the corner and the mouse pointer turns into that little half circle icon, you can also rotate your entire group, which you did not used to be able to do. So that was a really nice addition to the features in version 3. So now what I think I'll do is I'll come over here. I'm going to close up my embellishments box. I'm going to add a photo box very quickly to my page. I am going to just give myself a pretty decent size box to work with, and I'm going to come down and see if I can. I think there's a good picture of my girls, which are very good sisters. And then I'm going to add just a nice little, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. I'm going to crop a little bit different area of the picture, which we'll be covering in more detail in some of the other videos, and then I'm going to just send that to the back. And then so I've got just a nice little embellishment. I can add a background paper, I can add a few other things to this page, but what you can see is that in a very little amount of time I was able to add a nice amount of sort of word art to my page with all of these cute little tag embellishments. You can spell out names, dates, do any sort of journaling that you want with those monograms, now that it's easier to work with them and to get them all resized the way you want to. That technique works with individual embellishments no matter what they are. You can also use that to group your shapes. You can use that to group photo boxes and resize them to fill any of the items that you need. So let's add one more blank page, and I'll show you real quick what you can do with photo boxes to get them to give you some different configurations. I'm just going to add one basic box, and then I'm going to copy and paste that, and then I'm going to group those. Remember, we did the Control G. I'm going to now copy and paste that. And then I'm going to ungroup, which is just as easy. You can come up here to arrange and choose ungroup or Control Shift G. So I'm going to do that. Now, like I did before, I'm going to click and drag to encompass all of these. Then I'm going to use my alignment tools. I'm going to align things. Actually, I have to do two at a time, I think. I'm going to align these by the top. I'm going to align these by the top. And then I am going to group these two, group these two, and then I can do getting them all spaced evenly horizontally, that kind of thing, like we talked about before. I'm gonna align both of these boxes up by the left so that they're nice and neat. Then I'm gonna go ahead and group these together. And then I can enlarge the whole box once I get them set kind of in the configuration I want, so I can fill up the whole page. Now, of course, there are, on the resource gallery, there's a photo only layout for those kinds of things, and a lot of times you can find what you want in a photo only layout, but this is just a quick way if you wanted to do something special that you could easily set it up yourself. And then once you've got it done, you could enlarge or shrink the group however you want, or like we talked about, you can rotate it, and you can get some really cool looks with some of the groupings that you're able to do. This is really helpful for clusters, because if I were to go back here to this and say I have, let's go ahead and ungroup these just so you can see how difficult they are to move. If I wanted to move just one thing, or I wanted to move this unit as a whole, now all I need to do is group up the whole bunch. So now it includes the picture. I'm going to hit Control G so it all is selected together, and then once I have the whole unit, I can even shrink the whole unit so it's very easy to manipulate size-wise. This is really helpful when you're trying to, let me show you one other quick thing and then we'll wrap this one up for today. If I have embellishments that I have stacked one on top of the other, let's just go to one of the here's some miscellaneous elements. These are planets. Okay, say we have these all added to our page, and it's sometimes very difficult to grab a very small element that's in your group, especially if something else is stacked on top of it. So say I have these three little planets that are included in one of the kits, and I wanted to move these around, but you can see that this one is layered underneath this one, and it's very difficult to grab these. Let's go ahead and remove this whole cluster from my page. So by using this click and drag method, I'm able to group all of them, even though I can't click on this bottom one, and still move it and resize it without having to go to any extra trouble. I can even add shadows, and then I can rotate it or anything like that. But especially when you're working with some of those little teeny tiny elements and you've got like a bunch of things stacked up, by being able to click and drag over the whole group and then use those grouping menu options in the arrange, or like I said, with the keyboard shortcuts that are all listed here for you, just group them together, then you can move them all at once. Then what's really nice is, especially back in this, let's see if we can get our picture back. I don't know how many steps back I have to go. One more. That should do it. There we go. Now by having this, I can, if, like I was talking about earlier, keep an album set up that I have just grouped things together. I could always save this same grouping with just a blank photo box, and then I can copy and paste it into any other album that I want, or keep each individual grouping on a separate page and then use my insert buttons here to go ahead and insert from any other project of mine that I've created. So if I had a grouped objects album and I just made all of these wonderful clusters and I spent all this time, I don't have to reinvent the wheel every time I want to reuse it. I can just come up to here to select the album I want to import it from, and I just need to choose the album and the page, and then I'm ready to go. So it's very easy to work work through some of those steps. This will take you to the menu where you can choose any of your albums. But it's very easy to work through. So that's one thing that you can do with the grouping that really makes it easy. I'm going to go through some of the other things with the ordering and alignment video that will be coming out later that will show you some of the other things that you can do with those alignment and ordering menu tools. So for tonight, we'll wrap this up. If you have any questions about grouping or there's anything else that you would like to see, be sure to send me an email at lisaj@mymemories.com. And without anything else to cover, I will see you on Facebook. Have a great evening.